everybody, and welcome back to the J Lounge. Of course, you guys know I'm your hostess with the mostest, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson, here to bring you guys another wonderful episode of the J Lounge. Of course, you guys know the J Lounge is a celebrity-based podcast show where we talk with actors, directors, authors, writers, you name it. They all come down here and they all have a wonderful time. As per normal, I am very excited to be introducing my next guest. My next guest is a poet, writer, and a community engaged creative based in Washington, D.C., here to talk about her love of poetry and writing. And I'm super excited for you guys to learn more about her. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to Kinara Phillips. Hi, Kinara.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm great.
That's good to hear. That is good to hear. I appreciate you for coming on here today. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get the first question fired at you. What began your passion for poetry and writing?
Well, I kind of randomly started writing poetry a couple of months ago, but I wanted to kind of write down my observations of the world around me and of my own growth.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of what I write about is influenced by my background as an Afro-American studies major.
Mm-hmm.
And I use poetry almost like the same way that people use journaling, just as a way to navigate life and make sense of the world. Poetry definitely gives me a sense of freedom and self-confidence, and like, this is where I'm supposed to be, this is what I'm supposed to do. So it's really helped me these last couple of months to sort of navigate my post-college life and try to figure out, where am I going next?
Yes, yes. I love that writing and poetry has become like a creative outlet for you and for you
Yeah.
to be able to express, your ideas and thoughts. And I love that. I love how you found poetry to be that for you. I love it. Going on to the next question, can you name three people who influenced your career and why?
Well, the first person who has influenced specifically my poetry is actually my little sister, Amali Phillips. She is also a creative. She's a poet and an artist. Um, and she started writing poetry when she was really young, like 4 or 5 years old. And our parents actually published her poetry in a book when she was about 10. And I always thought that was really cool, but I also
Yeah.
was like a little bit intimidated by it, even though I'm the older sister. And I was like, my sister is already so creative and she's so good at like drawing and poetry and stuff. And I'm just sitting here like, I don't know what I'm wanting. I don't know if I'm a real creative, I don't know if I am a real artist. Um, but I think recently I've just been trying to think through life, and poetry has been a great outlet for me to do that. And I realize now that's exactly what my sister was doing growing up. She was trying to think through life as a kid. And now I'm trying to think through life as an adult. And we're using the same outlets to do that, which is really cool. Um, as for who else has influenced me, I think my professors at Howard, particularly my Afro-American studies professors, like Dr. Greg Carr and Dr. Nkongo. They both taught me a lot about Afro-American studies, not just African American history, but also the history of how we study Black people and how we study the diaspora. And I think that everything that I learned at Howard through the Afro-American Studies department really reflects in my poetry, especially when I'm writing about family history, because I'm not just trying to say this is what happened in the past.
Right.
I'm also trying to explain how does the past affect us today.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that is, yeah, that's a central concept in Afro-American studies.
oh my goodness. I love that. Well, I want to first start off by saying shout out to the little sister. I'm a little sister myself, so shout out to the little sisters. We try to be the backbone of the family. I'm just kidding. I know it's the oldest that's the backbone. But I know it's the oldest. I give it all to you guys. um, I do like the fact that she also used, poetry as a creative outlet when she's a kid, and you're using it now as an adult. I love the little night and day difference here, if you will. And I love that you also give a shout out to professors because they also are a great influence, in our lives, especially if you get a great professor who is really insightful, who really sees the work that you're trying to put out and really tries to inspire and nurture that talent. So shout out to them. So yeah, I love your choices. Going on to the next question, describe your poetry style.
Okay, so I wrote some notes on this. I'm going to read out my notes.
I
So
love it.
I write a lot of love poems. I write a lot about personal history, my personal ancestry. Um, a lot of my poetry is rooted in Black womanhood, what it means to be a Black woman, what it means to me to live as a Black woman.
Hmm.
Um, so it's very reflective. And I also like to add a sprinkle of Afro-American studies concepts in here and sort of use some words that I've learned from my professors, meaning making, preserving memory, and truth telling. Um, and these words are basically describing I am making meaning of Black life, and I am preserving our history and
Yeah.
our memory both for future generations and for the current generation. I'm preserving our history and I'm preserving our present in my poetry. And when it comes to spoken word, which a lot of my poems I write for spoken word, and I perform them at usually open mics at Busboys and Poets. Shout out to Busboys and Poets.
Hmm.
Um, I like to almost think of myself as a griot. I wish, well, it would be nice if there was a Black American word for griot. I there was actually someone on Threads, I'm on Threads, who asked this question: what is the American version of the word griot? And someone said rappers. And I was like, yeah, that's true. But it only encompasses some of the griots of our community.
Right.
So I would consider myself a griot in the same way that you would consider a rapper a griot. Because I'm trying to preserve our history, trying to preserve our memory, trying to tell the world about myself and
Mhm.
also about our history, our collective history, and our collective culture through poetry, which is what griots do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like how I would define my style.
I do love that though. I love that. And I love how you took notes. That's so me. Like I wrote notes about this, so let me go off. No, that is so me. That's the
I literally,
future.
can I show my notebook?
Yeah,
I literally have like
I,
notes down for the questions.
I love that. That's preparation, damn it. That was preparation. I
Yeah.
love it. I respect that, Kinara. I respect that a lot. And I love how you describe your style. I love how you describe it as preserving history for future generations because it's true. 30, 40, 50 years from now, people will discover your poetry and they're going to be like, wow, this is her perspective around that time because, you know,
Mhm.
we are in 2026 now as It's impossible. Yeah, I know, girl. I know. Trust me, I know. Your faith said it all. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. But we're in 2026 now. I know. I know. We're in 2026 now. In 50, 60 years, we're going to be further into the future. So who knows what that landscape is going to look like, what art is going to look like.
Right.
So it's going to be very exciting to see young poets at that time discover your work and be like, wow, I just love how she is saying this. I love this is exactly how I've been feeling, but
Hmm.
could not find the words to be able to express it. So I love that, Kinara. You're doing the work. You are doing the work. Going on to the next question. For first time listeners, readers of your poetry, what poem do you suggest they listen or read to understand who you are as a poet?
I have three. And the
Please.
reason why I have three is because they each show a different side of my poetry. So, the first one would be my poem Ebonics, which is in my book Dropping Knowledge. You would read that to find my voice.
Ooh.
So, the poem is written in my own version of Ebonics, along with the rest of the poems in that book. And if you want to know my voice, if you want to know the the history of my voice, read Ebonics and read my book Drop in Knowledge, because that book and this poem explain a lot about how I have family in Chicago. I have family in Florida. My Chicago family is originally from Mississippi and they have a little bit of a Mississippi accent. And I'm also from New York. And I'm also, now I'm in DC and I was born in Chicago. So I'm kind of like from all over. And my voice and my style of writing is informed by all of those things. And because it's informed by all of those things, you kind of need to understand that in order to understand some of my other poems, especially the ones that touch on family history. So I think Ebonics is definitely a poem that you need to read to understand my work. The second one I would recommend is The Family Historian. That one is a great introduction to poems about my past. The Family Historian can be found in my first book, Roots and Romance. And I think this poem, it doesn't explain any specific details of like my family history. It just basically says, I'm the family historian. This is what I do. This is why I'm the family historian. It explains who I am, what I do, and why I do it in the context of family history. And if you want to understand my own personal history with learning about my family and the importance of family history to me personally, that poem is a great place to start. Because I have done extensive research on my family history. I know a lot about my ancestry. I've presented research to my family. And that poem is like a reflection of all that work that I've done. And then the third poem I would recommend is called Soulmate. I believe it's in my Roots and Romance book, but I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. If it's not, it's definitely coming out in my third book that's coming out in February. It's a love poem, and I wrote it. I actually wrote it when I first met my boyfriend. And it was kind of like this realization that, like, maybe this will be something real kind of realization. And I think if you want to have an introduction into my romantic life, that's a great place to start.
Oh, I love it. Ebonics, Soulmate, and was it Family Portrait?
The Family Historian.
A family historian. I like all of those different poems. I feel like, as you just said, it shows different sides of you. Um, you have your soulmate, which shows the romantic side, Ebonics, which shows your voice, and then the family historian, which shows your past. So I highly encourage my audience, make sure you follow those. Um, Family historian, soulmate, and Ebonics to really understand who Kinara Phillips is as a poet and as a writer. Definitely follow those and definitely check those out. I really love that. I appreciate you for sharing that. Going on to the next question. So, Kanara, I want to make sure my audience follows you and your work. Where are you on social media?
Okay, on Instagram, I am at Kinara the Poet. On TikTok, I am at Grown Woman Poet.
Ooh, love it.
And I have a website, kinarathepoet.com. And I'm on Amazon as an author where you can buy my books. My author page, I think I'm listed as my full name, Kinara Janae Phillips.
Excellent. And I highly encourage my audience, make sure you follow Kanara Phillips on TikTok, on her website, Instagram, Threads. Follow her, support her, give her a shout out. Please check out her poetry and work, especially the ones that are coming out in February of 2026, which is next month. Oh my gosh, I still have to get over the fact we're in 2026 now. It's gonna take a minute. It's gonna take a minute. Okay, it's going out next month, so make sure you follow to support that. We want to see more of her work and just need to see more of her in general. Going on to the next question, what future projects are you involved with that you can give a little dish about to the J Lounge audience?
Well, like you said, my next book is coming out in February. It's called Black Woman Can't Stay Quiet, The Words of an Unapologetic Black Woman.
Say it loud for the people in the back.
Mm-hmm. And that book is coming out. I don't have an exact date, but probably like the second or third week of February it'll be out. I actually just ordered my proof copy, which is exciting.
Yes.
Yeah. So, it is in the works. The manuscript is finished, the cover is finished. I just need to go over final details, make sure that it's all, spick and span, and I will publish it on Amazon and hopefully get it distributed to bookstores in the local area. I have a fourth book in the works as well. It's going to be called something like Random Thoughts of a Black Poet.
Ooh.
Yeah. A couple of those poems are going to be in my third book, but I'm going to expand on the idea of like random thoughts. And it's literally random thoughts. So I started writing poetry at random times, like at a staff party or at 2 a.m. when I couldn't sleep or during a slow day at work, just like randomly. And I was like, this could be a good book concept, like just the random thoughts, the random poems that I write down. And so I'm planning on a book. So there's that. I've also thought about creating a spoken word album. Not sure if that's gonna happen, but maybe possible. Because
Ooh.
a lot of my poems are spoken word poems. They are more it's easier to understand them when I like say them in the way that they're supposed to be said, the way that I write them. Yeah. And then the other things are like I'm gonna keep on going to open mics. Usually I go to the 450K Busboys and Poets on Wednesday nights. That's like my poetry night. So, if you are in DC and you want to check me out, in person, that's where I would be. Hopefully at some point I'll be featured as a poet at Busboys and Poets. I'm like, fingers crossed, I really want to be. And also hopefully I'll find some community events to do. You know, if anyone is watching this and knows of an organization or, you know, a library or someone looking for a poet, I'm here. I'm in DC. I can get to Maryland. I can get to Virginia. Like, let's do it.
Yes. All of that sounds really amazing. I definitely want you to keep us here at the G Lounge posted, especially on your new book that's coming out next month, and especially on that soft spoken album. Definitely keep us posted. Hopefully that will work out and come together for you because that would be really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, keep continuing to go to open mic night. Those are the best. And but yes, definitely keep us posted for your more work. We're definitely excited for you here, Kinara.
Yeah.
Alrighty, going on to the next question. What goals do you hope to accomplish in your career that you have here?
So, I actually have a question about this question. Are you talking my poetry career or are you talking
Yes.
overall career? Okay, my poetry career. Okay. So, I am hoping to expand my work
Of course.
to get it into indie bookstores, get it into libraries, publishing across different formats, um, hopefully a spoken word album eventually. And then I also want to like build a platform for fellow Black poets,
Yes.
particularly in the DMV. I'm not really sure how I would go about doing that. Some of that can be done on threads, and some of that I am doing on threads. Basically, just engaging with people's posts and posting in the poetry thread section and responding to the comments and stuff like that. That's fun. But it would be really great to either join an organization or create an organization that is a collective of Black poets in the DMV. If anyone is watching this and they know of an organization that is a collective of Black poets in the DMV, please let me know. I would
Yes.
love to join.
Yes. Yes, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Starting an organization for that. That would be awesome because I don't believe there is one for Black poets, and I think that one would be greatly needed. Yeah, resources, advice, especially how to navigate, you know, the writing and poetry industry. So I think that would be a great thing to try and definitely do. Um, yes, I really hope you get some information on how to get that started because I really think that would be great. And I feel like it would be really, really successful because a lot of people want, especially a lot of Black people, want to figure out how to start, but don't know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, yeah, I love that. Going on to the next question. Name three poets who influenced your career.
Okay, so I know I already mentioned her, but my little sister, Amali Phillips. If she hadn't written poetry when we were growing up, I probably wouldn't be writing poetry right now because I just wouldn't be as exposed to it. But since it was literally in my house, surrounding me, literally every day she was writing poetry and she had her book and she was doing podcasts and oh my goodness, she's like so amazing.
You're like, oh my goodness.
I wouldn't be writing poetry. I wouldn't be doing this podcast. I wouldn't be doing open mics. I would just be doing whatever. I don't know. I don't know what I would be doing. So yeah, my sister, for one. Probably Audre Lorde because she uses poetry as a tool for survival, and that's partially what I'm using poetry for. I think having an outlet is really important, especially if you are, you know, like me, dealing with mental health issues, dealing with life, dealing with your landlord being a landlord, and so many other things. Like I have a lot going on in my life, and I need some place to let it all out, and that's poetry for me. And then the last person, I don't actually know their name, but they are on Instagram as the Prison Poet. It's an account run by I don't know who, but it's an account for someone in prison who writes poetry. And then I assume sends the poetry to their friends. And then their friends post it on Instagram.
Oh, wow.
It's some really deep stuff.
Yeah. Oh
So
my
I
goodness.
encourage you to check it out at the Prison Poet. I just like randomly discovered this person on Instagram and I was like, cool.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to check that out. That is, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
Ah, but I love those choices though. Especially like I said, especially your little sister, because and usually creativity hopefully usually starts at home. So the fact that you're surrounded by it, inspired you. I love it. Like I said, shout out to the little sisters. We try to be the backbone for things, but you know, the
Yeah.
key word is try. That's why I said key word is try. Alrighty, going on to the next question. What other passions do you have outside of poetry?
Okay. So, number one, what I've been working on really hard, besides my poetry, is getting into a Master's of Social Work program. I actually just applied to Howard University's Master of Social Work program. And I'm
Whoa.
hoping to get in
Yeah. I'm
and hoping to get a scholarship. If
Woo.
anyone at Howard is listening to this interview, put me in your little list of people who get money.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm processing my toes, everything for you, because that would be huge, especially with
Mhm.
Harvard. Oh my gosh. Can't even speak right now because that's so big. But yes, I am absolutely praying for you. And hopefully that goes into fruition for you because that would be great. That would be amazing.
Yeah, and then besides that, music. I've always loved music. I always like to sing. My boyfriend is actually a musician, so it's more his thing than my thing. But I'm trying to get him to let me collaborate on one of his songs, and then he's like, "You can't sing," and I'm like, "I can too."
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there.
Yes.
And then community organizing is really important to me as well. I have done um, some internships with nonprofits. I've done social media for nonprofits. I mean, even like the social work route that I'm planning on taking for my career is branching off of that community organizing and social justice work that I've been doing for
Mhm.
since I started college. Um, so yeah, I mean, yeah, I was there at the 2020 Black Lives Matter protests. I was there in 2017 when we were protesting climate change in New York City. Um, and Greta Thunberg came through. Like I grew up around it. I yeah, I love using my voice and using my talents and using my privilege to bring change to the world. And I'm hoping that maybe some of my poetry will help do that.
Yes, absolutely. If it hasn't done so already, yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. I love that. I absolutely love that. Alrighty there. Kinara, we just got one more question for you so we can finish up. Any advice for aspiring poet writers who are hoping to be successful just like you?
Um, you know what's funny? I didn't like plan this, you know, writing poetry and then publishing books. I just kind of did it. And that's my advice. Just start writing. Just do it, like Nike says. Because
Love it. I heard that.
you can't, like, you can think about it all your life and you can talk about it all your life. And you can be like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to talk to this person. And, maybe it would have been nice for me to talk to some experts about how to be a poet, I guess. I don't know. But, like, poetry is so subjective and so personal and so individualistic that, like, you don't even need to know all of the great poets, and you don't need to you don't need to be an English major to become a poet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh,
you don't
absolutely.
even need to finish high school to you don't even need to finish middle school to be a poet. My
You just need
sister
to
started
start.
writing poems when she was 4 years old.
Yes.
So just do it. That's my main advice. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait to become an expert. Just start writing. And then once you start writing, find your community, because your community will keep you going. Even when you're like, I don't know about this. I don't know if this poem is any good. I don't know if I want to keep writing. Find your community, and then you will know
Mm-hmm.
to keep writing.
Amen. Can I get a hallelujah on that? Ah, absolutely. I agree. I agree, Kinara. You were speaking nothing but truth, girl. Nothing but truth. Just don't think about it. Don't talk about it. Just start. Let all that thinking and talking come later. Just pick a place and just start. Just get it going. Because once you get it going, everything else will fall into place.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, I love it. I love it. Kanara, I really enjoyed our conversation today. I really do enjoy learning about you and your work, and I really hope my audience enjoys the same as well, learning about you and your work. You've just been an amazing guest, and I just appreciate you giving me your time today.
Of course. Yeah, this was fun.
Yes, yes. And I want to highly encourage my audience, make sure you follow Kinara Phillips on Threads, Twitter, TikTok, her website. Make sure you follow up on her latest book that will be coming out next month, because we want to see more and learn more about Kinara Phillips' work. And then everyone, please give her all the good positive energy, and hopefully she can snag this Harvard opportunity, get on that
Howard.
bankroll. Huh?
Howard.
Howard, I thought so. Howard. So make sure she can get onto this. So give her all the good energy, because next time we hear from her, we want to hear that she got onto that program. So let's give her all the good thoughts and energy we can. All right, you guys. I have been your hostess with the mostest, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson, bringing you guys another great episode of the J Lounge. Until then, of course, I want to thank my amazing guest, Kinara Phillips, one more time. Thank everyone for listening. I will be back, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be back.